Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gothy Roundtable, the official talk show of r/goth. I'm Cadaver Kelly, and as always, I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts Dave and DJ Carnivorous. Hi, Dave.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Today, our topic is international touring, a topic our guests have extensive experience with. Joining us is Yerky Witch and Miss Blueberry from legendary goth rock band Two Witches, and Lisa and Vladimir of Pittsburgh-based goth rock and death rock duo Jesucrisis. Thank you all for joining us. We are so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the upcoming tour. I want to start with Yerky. Please tell us about the upcoming U.S. tour here with Jesucrisis.
First of all, it's really important thing because we haven't been playing in US more than one gig 7 years ago in Los Angeles, and I have always wanted to tour in US as well. So yeah, we are really waiting for this.
Great. So this fits into a broader tour for Two Witches. This is your 35th anniversary year tour. What's upcoming after this?
Okay, first of all, we started already when the birthday of Two Witches was in September. So we started in Finland, supporting for Christian Death. Then we played some festival gigs, touring in Sweden and Denmark. 2 days ago, we played in Finland again. The next target is going to US, and then we are having a small 5-concert tour in Finland, and then we are going to Mexico. Maybe there will be some others, but nothing is sure except these at the moment.
Wow, you're going to be busy.
No, it's like nowadays touring is so different than earlier. Like it doesn't mean that we are busy. We are just doing several gigs, then keep a break, then doing several gigs.
Gotcha. So Miss Blueberry, you are an integral part of Two Witches as a trio, and this will be your first time coming to the States. Are there any places or cities in particular that you're looking forward to?
Okay, this is first time for me in years, and that's why it's hard to say some place which I'm waiting for. Of course, every new place is very nice to see, and of course, New York is one of these. I think there is lots of to see.
Excellent. And we're very excited that you're stopping here in Pittsburgh on your tour.
Hopefully.
Lisa, you and Vladdy as Jesucrisis are hosting Two Witches here in the U.S. You agented and coordinated the 5 dates. Could you tell us a little bit more?
Sure. We got a very gracious invite to the Loomis Gothic Festival back in 2020, and it happened right as we were about to go to LA after our album came out. And of course, as soon as we got back from LA, we couldn't go because of the pandemic. We were hoping to still try to go come July, and we could not. So it was on my mind to definitely get to Finland at some point. And basically, I wanted to do a kind of an accentuation of a north-south Gothic death rock with the fact that Finland is so far north, and Chile, of course, even though we're based in North America, that Chile is the furthest south continent. And we talked with Jay Ravine from the Flatfield because we had started to do some collaborations with him. And the Flatfield was going to be a part of this tour, and I basically looked at where we could go in the United States and to try to get a tour together that was 5 dates, 5 or 3, 4 or 5, they were fine with, or 6, that would be efficient on a little tour of the US. And you know how it comes together, you put one date down and then the others kind of fall into place. And Jay's sector of Sanctorium Philly was so wonderful at being able to help connect the dots. One fell into place and then the others did. Come October, unfortunately, the Flatfield couldn't make it. And I had already put the tour together. We weren't going to not play. And we knew we needed to get someone. And the best opportunity for us was to talk to our also good friends like the Flatfield, and also Marco from Chaos Research, who I did some collaborations with. I talked to Yerky and I said, look, want to put this past you. Would you want to come on board? And with the guarantees that we had, that I had put together with the 5 promoters, essentially, with me, I was so pleased that Two Witches said, yeah, we're going to try to do this. And for about a 2-week period, I think it was, you and I, fast and furious on the emails, but it was just a matter of getting things into place. And then we were able to put this together. And it's not just the US tour, but it was that we played, Jesucrisis played in Finland first, with Chaos Research on 2 gigs, and then Two Witches headlining, and the Flatfield is part of the last 2 gigs as well. It worked out really well, and we're now looking forward to bringing this to the US, strictly with Jesucrisis and Two Witches.
Excellent. Sounds like a very exciting tour. Vladdy, part of hosting Two Witches is going to be having them at your Hilltop home with Lisa, and you did that with Rick Agnew and Jetan Damone when they were when they were in Pittsburgh before your gigs together in LA. Are you excited to host these legends, Yerky, Marco, and Miss Blueberry?
Oh yeah, I am very happy and interested. Before experience with Jetan Damone and Rick Agnew. Rick Agnew is one man very incorporative. The man say me, hey, you sing it with me, that witch in a stage in LA and Pittsburgh. Oh my God. And Jetan Damone, yeah, help with Jesucrisis with contact in universities in LA for interviews. And yeah, and with Two Witches, I know Two Witches, more than 25 years old. In Chile, I am listed and I am recording in cassette. All radio stations, the universities, kind of like clandestine. They started recording this cassette. These radio stations, the universities, play Christian Dead Bauhaus, Philip the Nephilim, Two Witches, and local star band, local bands. Yeah, the first time I have Two Witches in cassette in all radio stations. Yeah, I say universities, and yeah, I am the experience, the one live. With the one show live, the Two Witches is one very, very strong experience. It's very one high adrenaline. The skin is kind of like muy intense. It's powerful. It's no one Gothy rock flat as no. It's very dynamic. Jerky running all the stage. I say people are high, etc. It's one very intense adrenalinic experience. And after, when Two Witches down the stage, it's a very quiet people, calm, relaxing.
Down to earth is the expression in English. What? In English, the expression is down to earth. Very genuine.
Yeah, genuine, down there. Yeah, no orgies with blood, with devil. No, very calm people and kind people. And with Marco, alias Lord Gravehill, Lord Gravehill. Yeah, we play with. We have the honor. Jesucrisis opened the shows in Finland for Chaos Research with Sana, a very cool woman. We travel with Saina Hockey at Tamper in the car with Marco. We talking any and everything. Any and everything things. We talking the politic, music, metal music, and etc. We traverses in the car beautiful winter landscape in the Finland, no? I am recording this experience in video after we working in mini documentaries, kind of like the other mini documentaries, the Jesucrisis in the channel, the YouTube. For example, the adventure, the LAA, etc.
Yeah, Marco, of course, is the third person of Two Witches is going to be part of the tour and couldn't make it because you guys are in different cities right now, obviously.
Yeah.
Had the gig last night in Tampere and
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Actually, we are living in different countries because the full band is 6 persons, and Heidi still lives in Berlin, in Germany. So it's quite rare that she could join for the rest of the crew. But yes, otherwise we are living in different cities, and Heidi lives even in different countries.
Yeah.
And in additional, I have recommended many the music, the Lord Gravehill, the Marco, the project, the other project is Majestic, and also I recommended Chaos Research, because dark wave, neoclassical dark wave with elements, the folklore Finland and the Tison shamanic things, etc. I have recommended.
Excellent. It sounds like it's going to be a very exciting show. Anyone who is watching, fellow Pittsburgh locals, they will be here in Pittsburgh on March 31st at the Hard Rock Cafe. So it'll be a great show to attend. And definitely check out the Jesucrisis YouTube channel, as Vladdy had mentioned there.
I'm going to clarify, it's March 30 in Pittsburgh.
March 30th.
Not 31st.
March 30.
You said 31st. It's the 30th.
30.
It's a Thursday. Yeah. And Friday the 31st, we're in Akron, Ohio.
All right. Well, that'll be a great show. And there's an event listing for it on Facebook for any Pittsburghers who are watching. And like I said, the Jesucrisis YouTube channel, go check that out. If any of our viewers have questions for Two Witches or Jesucrisis, leave your questions in the live chat, because at the end of the stream, we'll be checking those out. But now I'd like to talk a little bit about all of your backgrounds as an artist and history of touring, since our topic is international touring. I'd like to hear a little bit more about other tours or international gigs that you've played in the past. So Jyrki, what are some of the most memorable shows that you've played internationally, and what's made those shows stand out?
I think the biggest highlight of all of those, like, first of all, we have played hundreds of gigs, and like about half of those outside of Finland. So we have been in nearly 30 different countries in 4 continents. So we have played a lot of concerts outside of Finland. And if I should mention just one for a start, then Brazil 1997, Sao Paulo. That was absolutely amazing moment in many ways. Like, first of all, that was our very, very first time in Latin America. We didn't know anything what to expect. And people in Latin America are acting totally different than people in Europe. People in Europe are
especially different than Finland.
Yeah, Finnish people are pretty shy and pretty quiet and then calm down and things like that. And people in Latin America, they were acting like really fanatic.
Yeah.
And then they really showed that they were waiting for us, and that was so big surprise to us. Before that we were touring like maybe 100 gigs around Europe, but that was our very first time in Latin America, and everything was like a big cultural shock for us. The climate, people, the show itself. We played in a big sport hall, which was just for us. It was our gig and the local supporting band. And normally we played for a few hundred people in Europe, and suddenly there were full sport hall waiting for us. MTV South America MTV Brazil, whatever. MTV, if I remember right, it was MTV South America back in the days, and they filmed the thing, and I was there with the MTV microphone as an opening news flash for MTV News. It was a really big thing. It was like the Beatles moment.
Wow,
and those 2 weeks there in Brazil, 1997, even my autograph changed totally, because we gave hundreds and hundreds of autographs, which was also something we never had to do in Europe, because no one is interested about those. And suddenly we had to give those absolutely everywhere. And before that trip, my autograph was like with more curves and everything, and suddenly it changed like that was the biggest highlight. And of course, playing for the main stage of Wave Gothic Treffen in Accra Hall 2001, that was one of those highlights. Our very first trip to Argentina in December 1997, we played 2 sold-out concerts in a big theater. That was also one of those things. But these really memorable moments happens all the time. Like 2019, we played the very first time in Chile and Peru. That was really great thing. And yeah, things like that.
Excellent. Sounds like you got the star treatment in South America.
That's a really important thing for us, and it's really important marketing area for us. Nowadays, we have been for several years in Brazilian label. We do not have a European recording deal at the moment, so we are in Brazilian label. That explains that Latin America is a big thing for us.
Great. And you have hosted and promoted Loomis Gothic Festival for decades now. How has your experience been with that and having bands from around the world perform at your festival?
Most of those have been my friends, the bands I have met in different festivals when we have been touring with Two Witches, playing for different festivals and meeting people there, and then became friends with many of those. And for most of the bands, I explained that we are a really small thing. We do not have much money to pay or things like that, but please come here for a holiday and play a concert at the same time. That I want to keep everything really friendly, a small, calm down thing, but please come here, and maybe that will help you for the next time with some real organizer paying some money and blah, blah, blah. So quite many of them have been here after Lumos organized by someone else.
Great. Miss Blueberry, how has your experience been touring with Two Witches in South America?
It was very nice. Like Jyrki said, people in South America are very different kind than in Finland. And that's not a bad thing, because I love that thing that people really come to talk and meet us, because in Finland they are walking there and just watching very often. And okay, we don't fight. I promise that you can come to talk to us, and it was very nice experience. Very different cultures than in Europe at all, and I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Lisa, you played a gig with Come With Reverse in Thessaloniki, Greece, and that was a few years before touring as a duo in Jesucrisis, and you do ongoing collaborations with artists from all around the world. How's that experience been?
That's how Vladdy and I met through our music, international, by the fact that I started playing electric violin more in 2015, and just Was writing more original pieces, solo and with collaborations, beginning collaborations with people around the world. And it's been amazing. I want to say that it's been a hell of a lot more fruitful than domestically, than in Pittsburgh, than in the States, to be able to feel that you have music that you want to put out there, or to collaborate with other folks from around the world that are doing interesting things. So it's been really great. One ongoing one that continues to happen is Jer Egan, who's, of course, the vocalist from This Burning Effigy from the 90s in the Gothic scene. And he was going to join us on this tour in both Finland and or in New York City, but his father is elderly, as many of us have had the experiences of dealing with sick elderly folks that are not doing so well. So he couldn't make it for us to play with him live, and for me to do something solo with him live, a big piece of ours called Fraction. But we have other things in the works, and I'll leave it at that for the international stuff. There is something else I could mention, but maybe toward the end if we're talking about other projects.
All right, great. Vladdy, you moved to the United States, but still tour in Chile and South America. You've toured LA and the US West Coast, as well as around the world. Do you find that the United States is a good home base to launch all of this from?
Yeah, United States is very good platform for spread with material. And yeah, many people the South America like Jesucrisis and help Jesucrisis. I'm very happy that Jesucrisis spread more in the world the material. I am not in one competence with other bands. I don't like a competition, kind of like champion with other band. But for example, yeah, it's very good platform. And Pittsburgh too, for we is very good, kind of like laboratory for composition, for recording, for working in videos, in music. Pittsburgh had one aesthetic, kind of like imaginary the Tim Burton, no? This street, these houses, Victoria houses, many forests. Yeah, it's for me and Alisa, it's very good platform for the spread material for the diffusion. Diffusion, yeah.
And it was a whole year when Vladdy came up to the United States. It was a whole year before we could travel to go back to South America to bring some music there as a duo for the first time. So we worked extensively, especially he did, in the snow of Pittsburgh that he was unfamiliar with prior, and creating videos. That one that we did with Jay Rubin. With our first collaboration with Jay of the Flatfield. So yeah, it's been a really good experience, a new experience for Vladimir and for me both, to be in the duo and to recreate these songs, and then to be able to travel with them, especially to South America first.
That's so cool. I've never been outside of North America before. So to me, the concept of international touring is very foreign. It's probably a pretty foreign concept to a lot of our viewers as well. So I'd like to hear a little bit about the process of putting together an international tour. And Lisa, I know that you've organized a lot of this upcoming tour. Could you tell me a little bit more about the actual process of going about creating an international tour and putting something like this together?
Sure. What's funny, the main coordination for me was the domestic part of this multi-continental tour. But indeed, because my compadres in Finland, both Jyrki and Marco are from Two Witches, and the guys from Jay and Risto and the other guys, Ville from the Flatfield, they were able to provide the connections over there. For the domestic part of this, I mean, we did a tour in LA, of course, with Ravensmoreland and with Rick Agnew, and that involved a lot of getting connections made to get some good gigs. In the U.S. here, it was really a matter of just a lot of hard work of making logistics happen and following through on connections. I think Vladimir actually, he could speak more to the international in the sense that he's got friends in South America and those connections too. Those are those spokes that help you to branch out and go to the other countries. I think Jyrki probably could speak a lot about this because, of course, he's in Finland and his band for so many years has traveled to countries and it became fruitful for him in South America. So I'm kind of curious how, when you don't have connections made, how you can get that promotion. In the early years, Jyrki, for example, I'm curious how you were able to leave Finland and leave Europe even, because Europe's one thing, but how did you first start to go over to South America, make those connections?
Okay. First of all, everything is always a question of contacts. When you know people, then it helps for knowing even more people, because everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. But when we started touring outside of Finland, that was 1990. Back in the days, Finland wasn't even a part of European Union back then, and we did our very first European tour, 1 month tour, carrying everything in trains. So and we didn't have not a single concert booked before we started tour. We just went to the first town, then we make a camp outside of the railway station, and then we try to look out if there's like any punks or death rock people or any alternative people, and then we ran there and like, hey, we are from Finland, like where people like you are normally hanging around. Is there any venue? Could we play there? And where it is, could we find there on our own? Do we have to use public transportation or something like that? And then we carried all the stuff to the front door of the venues, and then we were just waiting for any organizer or any workers to come in, and then we said like, yeah, we are from Finland, could we play here, blah blah blah. And then we were sleeping in parks and in trains and backstages and in squats and things like that. So first 2 tours, 1990 and 1992, we did that way. Then we had this third European tour supporting for Lacrimosa. Then we already had like the real booking agent and real tour manager and things like that. And we noticed that it didn't suit for us. Like I want to handle as much as I could by my own. So then I started like writing to people. That was days before internet, so we really wrote old school letters, sending those, waiting for 2 months to get an answer, sending the next letter, waiting for 2 months to get an answer, and but little by little I found more and more international contacts, and I was always asking like the main thing for me is playing concerts and touring around, because I would like to visit in every country in the world. I would like to visit in every town in the world. I would like to go to museums and seeing the views, meeting new people. Like Miss Blueberry and I, we are traveling all our holidays. We are spending all our money for traveling, and yeah, we just bought new backpacks for the latest trip. Backpacking is easier, and my thing was that I explained to everyone that I would like to come there, I would like to play, is there any chances? And then I met more people. Of course, when you are touring, and even if all the Finnish people are really shy and quiet, somehow I wasn't one of those. And so when I found more contacts, I got more gigs. Touring is one of those things that it doesn't suit for everyone. unfortunately. Like, it's like traveling. Some people are like natural travelers, and some people are not. So that's one of the reasons why there have been different people in different lineups of tour, which is like there have been people who have been really interested going somewhere, and then we have been a month on tour, and when we came back from tours, those people have noticed that traveling and touring are not for them, so they have left the band, and then we have found new ones. The last years we have had pretty stable lineup, people who really like to do this thing, people who also like to travel and tour. And in mid-90s, I don't know why, but suddenly Latin America found us. Maybe because of the first albums of released by Cleopatra. I guess that was one of the main things, because we were one of the first bands signed to Cleopatra. They were back in the days. They had Christian Death, Letter Strip, Sex Can Children, several others, and us. And suddenly we started getting more and more fan mail especially from Brazil, and suddenly the first one offered us chance to come there for 2 weeks. We had really big problem with the thing that he couldn't speak any English, and my English wasn't that good either, and he wanted to do everything by phone. and it was a thing when I tried to ask, like, okay, the embassy needs to know how long we will stay, like we need to know the dates. 2 weeks. You are from 2 weeks. You are coming to Brazil. Yes, we already talked about that. So how long we will stay there? 2 weeks. You are coming to Brazil. Yes. Could we continue the thing that how long time we will stay there? You are coming. Yes. Are we staying there a day or a week or a month or a year or rest of our lives? And he was like, Vicky, and I was like, okay, so we will be there a week. No week, Vicky. We will stay there for 2 weeks. So yes, we had several misunderstandings, but we handled the thing. We had a really great time, and the next time it was easier. But yeah, that's how touring normally goes. Like things happens. Some good things, some bad things, quite often, plenty of problems. But if you solve those, like 2001, we were on a month tour, European tour. We were on our way to the very first concert in Belgium. We stopped to Copenhagen for eating, and someone stole our minibus. And all our gear and costumes and passports and mobiles and everything. So yeah, things happens, and when you are touring a lot of things happens.
And after that, you and Marco moved to Berlin. No.
After that, we moved to Berlin.
Wow. What an experience. So you did mention, some people are natural travelers and take really well to touring, and others are not as comfortable with the touring. From your perspective, Jyrki, what are some of the most rewarding aspects to touring all around the world?
Meeting new people, seeing new places.
Great. And Miss Blueberry, how about for you?
The same as you, Jyrki, but also I really enjoy being on stage. So it's always nice to be on stage, but it's always nice to be on stage if there is good venue and lots of people. And it's like Jyrki said, it's very nice to see lots of new people and talk with them and just meet and see different cultures. I really enjoy it.
Excellent. Lisa, how about for you, most rewarding aspects of touring around the world?
Well, I've only been able to really do that, except for when I went solo to Thessaloniki with Come With Reverse, with Vladi. And of course, Jesucrisis brings the built-in South America compadres. So that when he got his green card, he announced to all of his friends that, hey, I can travel now. And it was a year, before we could. And we had Lima and Cueva de Murciélagos.
Yeah, Cave of the Bats.
Cave of the Bats. And it was just amazing, Kelly, because these guys these are underground promoters in Lima, and they rolled out the red carpet for us. I never had before had anything like that, where in our first floor right now, we have a almost 10-foot by 5-foot poster that they made for us. And they did promo videos and all kinds of things, and the place was packed. As Yerky mentioned, South American audiences just love and show their love of music, and if they enjoy your music. And so for me, that was a real highlight, seeing that cultural difference that these guys have talked about as well, and the fact that he brings in the built-in connections with the rest of Latin America. So I got to work with Hadrian Juarez. We did. To make the coordination for us playing Gothic BA this past June and July. Every time we go down to South America, we of course play Santiago, a couple gigs. And it's like Yerky mentioned, you spend your money to travel, to go to these places. And for us, we go to see his family, and then we build in gigs. And we always try to hit a country on the way back to the United States. First it was Peru and Argentina, and we need to do Bolivia because possibly we were once in Bolivia, and Brazil we probably should do at some point. So it's just been wonderful meeting different folks, and for me, I went to the Lima Gothic Festival in 2017, and that's where I met Yerky, and where I actually prior to that had a connection with Marco online because of the fact that he's an electric cellist, and then the Jay Ravine connection kind of came in there as well, with the Flatfield being interested in adding a violin line to something. So it's connections, and then being able to go to this new country and then really develop those connections, I think. As Yerky mentioned, the idea that you are really building and cultivating relationships with other colleagues all around the world. It's exciting, it's fascinating, and you never want to leave a place unless you dislike that place. You never want to leave a connection undone, essentially. And you can't be shy. It was kind of cool when you mentioned that you're not going to get any promotions if promotional leadways if you're shy. To extend yourself and extend the fact that you want to play in other places. And I see that Two Witches does that all the time. A fan writes, "Hey, come here, or come there," and Two Witches and Yerky and Marco, they write back, "Hey, talk to your promoter. Get somebody in your city, in your country, to invite us." So it's learning, traveling, and to be always cultivating those connections and new connections.
Great. And Vladi, how about for you, most rewarding aspects of touring?
It's the most rewarding, más regalo.
The time, for example, I am very happy with my old tours, my old project before Jesucrisis. Before I am playing one band, the name Terror Policial. It's a hardcore punk.
Police Terror.
The tour is without a stop. We have many energy.
Hitchhike.
Young energy. The tour without a stop. After with Jesucrisis, I am very happy with the experience in Bolivia, Peru, Mendoza, Argentina, Chile, different side of Chile, and after with the time with Lisa in the USA, start when meet with icons, musician, no? Ravens Moreland, the Wall of Voodoo, Regagnu band with musicians, the adolescents, the different scene hardcore, Friends the Recagnum, and after Baylor, Christian the Baylor, and amazing experience. Finland, with Witches, Marco, Venezia, the Flatfield. I am very grateful with the Risto, the money show. We show Estonia. Very good tour in the record stores, in the bar rockers. And Finland. Finland, my impression is one country very rocker. I have looked many stores, bars, rockers, people in the street with clothes, dark rocker clothes, and for these people, it's no one problem. The cold time, the cold time, no. Cold.
The cold. The fact that
the weather cold.
Not everybody.
Yeah, these people. It's very good audience. These people no fear the cold. Apoyar.
Help.
And help the gigs. And yeah, it's one country very rocker. Yeah, I think all the my old tours and the new tours with icon musician is a very good experience. No exempt the adventures or bad things, but this is the life. But I have very good experience in general with icons and another more underground people. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds very exciting. Lots of big names.
I didn't want to talk over you. I was
just I have many anecdotes, no?
Anecdotes.
Anecdote, pero no time for now.
Yeah, you played with a lot of legendary musicians. That sounds like really exciting experience. I'm curious to hear about some of the differences that you all have noticed between regions or like big cultural differences you've noticed between different places around the world. Jyrki, you touched on this a little bit with, in Finland, people being more shy, whereas in South America, they were a lot more fanatic, as you said. Any other interesting differences that you've noticed between regions, Jyrki?
Old Eastern European countries are acting different than Western European countries, and we used to be quite often in touring in Russia, and people were acting. The more far away you went from St. Petersburg and Moscow, people were acting more and more the same way as people in Latin America. Certain parts of Europe, like Spain, Portugal, Italy, people are also acting different way than, for example, in Finland or Sweden. And Swedish people, they know they are acting more or less the same as Finnish people. We do not have that big difference. I guess that's one of the reasons why we are having so many friends in Sweden, because we are feeling more or less the same kind of aspects, and we are acting more or less the same way, except Swedish people are drinking more than us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but one very big difference is in Finland, if we have schedule, we keep it, and if we go to Spain or Latin America or something, yes, you have schedule. Okay.
Timetables do not ever be exact.
I can relate to that. Yeah, going to South America, where something's supposed to be at 7 and it ends up happening around 9:30 or so.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, I'm curious if you guys have noticed it in South America, for me, Kelly, and everybody, is that cultural differences. a great example that really blew my mind is we had this great gig in Lima, Peru. We played well. It was the first time we played as a duo, and it was in Lima. It was for this fantastic event that they rolled the red carpet out for us. It went into the wee hours of the morning. We all traipsed across the what now in Peru has been destructive, by what's going on politically, but the beautiful courtyards. We walked, and then guess where we went? At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning to a disco. And in the United States, disco was in the 1970s, but then no more. And here we were at a disco, and everybody's listening to shit music and dancing. And I was on like adrenaline from playing Gothic rock, death rock. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why are we at this disco? And he said, that's what happens in South America. That's just what they do. They want to go and listen to, and it wasn't even good disco. It was so for me, it was just very unusual at 6 or 7 in the morning to do that. And I don't know if Brazil was the same way, or if you guys encountered it in Peru or in Chile. Curious.
We are so boring people that we are normally going to sleep after the concert, and but yeah, in Finland you can't really find any discos anymore. So I'm a bit jealous for you that because I would rather go there than in Finland. It's absolutely everywhere the same metal shit, and it doesn't matter where you are going. It's always the one and same metal, and all the metal bands sounds the same, so it's the one and same song they are playing everywhere.
I think Jyrki is a little bit but yes, in Finland you can go like anywhere and they are playing metal, and it's annoying.
Yeah, if you don't like it, it's really boring.
Well, Jyrki, you've been touring for a long time now with Two Witches. Have you noticed differences, or how has touring changed over the years? Has the process or the experience changed at all with time?
It has changed a lot in many ways. Like I already told that back in the days when we started touring, there were not internet yet, so we really had to write letters and waiting for the answers, and it took weeks. Through the 90s, they were really touring. Nowadays, there ain't really touring anymore, or actually, most of the Gothic scene bands can't really touring because you can't get gigs for Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. So through the 90s, we did like 1 month tour playing 20 concerts or something like that. That we normally played like 4 concerts, having 1 off day, playing 4 concerts, having 1 off day. And I think that's the biggest difference. Nowadays, it's normal a thing that especially for us, we are flying to somewhere, playing 1 or 2 or 3 concerts, spending 1 or 2 off days, going back to Finland, and even like right now in our 35 years Jubilee tour, it's not a real tour more than just for like few periods. Few very short periods we are going to somewhere, playing like 5 concerts, going back 2 months later we continue, because earlier it was a real tour. We normally packed all the gear to a van and start driving through Europe, playing like 15 concerts in Germany, a few concerts in Austria, the Netherlands, Spain, blah blah blah, and drove back. So it really took a month or 5 weeks or something like that. Nowadays, it normally takes like a long weekend.
On that note, Jyrki, you mentioned earlier that there's some folks that didn't care for traveling so much, and they recognized it probably on the tour, and then when they got home, and you guys realized it, and you found new band members that it would fit to the idea of touring. I'm curious if you like better, probably not from what you're saying, the idea of where we are now with tours, or would you prefer to pack up the gear and be away for 2 months and then come back?
Both things are having their sides. Like a good thing back in the days was that when you were really touring, you really had to forget everything else because you couldn't do anything else. But it also meant that if you had a working place, so normally it ate all your holiday in just for one tour, and then you had to wait for the whole year for the next tour. Nowadays, when it's normally like long weekends, it means that you could do more of those per each year. So I like both things. We are quite lucky nowadays that because we are having quite many contacts and things like that, we could do these long weekends, and we try to do it the way that we could also have some holiday at the same time, because we would like to travel, we would like to go all the views, museums, things like that. And if you are on tour, you do not normally have any extra time. So especially if you are doing like nightliner tour, it means that straight after concert, you are packing your gear, then you are going to shower, then you are going to the nightliner, you are sleeping there, and wake up next morning in the next place, start the whole thing from the beginning. You unload the nightliner, you start like building the stage, then you are doing sound checking, going to eat, then there is the event, you play your gig, after gig you unload the stage, pack all your gear, and then you will go to sleep.
The reason I ask is that I think it suits us well. Kelly, you were asking about like differences in well, just generally about internationally touring. I know for Vladdy and I, it works really well in our work life. And our age, probably as musicians now, to tour like we do, which is to not go away and pack up everything for 2 months. Not that those opportunities are there, but to do it in spurts. I think it really works well for us. You know, Jyrki remarked about the fact that it's the 35th anniversary, but it's not really a tour. But I see it that it is. You know, the fact that we started with Christian Death in Finland, and then the wonderful opportunities that happened along the way in Sweden and Denmark, I believe you played before we went out there and did some gigs, or at least one gig with you in December. Then the U.S. tour, and you've got Mexico. For us, it's been wonderful to be able to do things in phases and spurts too. It works out with our work, and it helps us to do stuff in between, to work on videos and to post footage. And I would just say that we are not a band that plays every Saturday night or every third Saturday night at a local. We try to pick gigs that are international in scope, or if it's domestic, like here when we were asked to open for Christian Death, Valor's Christian Death, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful opportunity. So we see less hectic and more sparse opportunities to go and tour places, and then to be able to visit the countrysides and the cities that we're visiting. It's a really cool thing. And even when Two Witches come out, I won't remark about it unless you guys want to, but you know, we're going to be doing some things on the off days that I think are going to be kind of cool, especially one in particular. So that wouldn't be able to happen if it was back to back to back. The second weekend of our tour, this domestic tour coming up with the Witches and Jesucrisis, is a nice tour put together. I'm grateful that it happened this way and proud that it could. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it's DC, Philly, and then New York City. And that couldn't be more efficient than a tour than that. But in between the first weekend and the second, we've got some downtime, but we're going to take good advantage of it.
Excellent. Sounds like you go for a bit of a quality over quantity approach with the playing shows and lining up opportunities.
Yeah, good opportunities. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So we've talked about the rewarding aspects of touring, but I'd like to hear a little bit about some of the challenges of touring, whether they be big or small challenges. Lisa, I know that you had mentioned to me at one point that you've had challenges with difference in electricity over in Europe versus here.
I'm not an electrician, but still. Our challenges with electricity. You need not only adapters to fit the plugs in the wall, the holes in the wall, but you need transformers, voltage transformers. Otherwise, you could be screwed with your pedals. And I think, I'm not sure, but possibly the Wake encountered that when they played Madrid recently. I know that we've encountered it, but we recently discovered the fix to that. So if anyone wants to know, they could write us on Messenger or the like, and we'll about what you can buy here in the States. It definitely fixes that problem. But it's a challenge dealing with having the right converters. If you're bringing your own gear, that is, to other countries, which we do. We tend to do. Yes, we do.
And that's a great tip for any up and coming musicians who might be going overseas for the first time to play shows. Definitely look into if you need any type of equipment or transformers. What other types of challenges, like I said, whether they be big or small, have you encountered on tour? Jyrki, you had mentioned that at one of your shows that you had been robbed, and that was a difficult experience for you. But any other challenges that you'd like to share that you've encountered over the years?
For a young band nowadays, I guess one of the hardest parts is that if you would like to tour, especially if you would like to tour international, but also domestic things, is that you should find financial things from somewhere, from your own pockets or somewhere else, because quite often you have to pay not only for your expenses, but you have to pay for the headliners, you have to pay for the venues, and then many other things as well. And if you are a young band and you do not have good fan following yet and blah blah blah, you won't get that money back from the merchandise either. So it means that it costs a lot. That's one of the hardest parts. And it's amazing how much you should pay for the headliners nowadays, and also for the festivals. It's the thing that quite many festivals are offering you only pay-to-play deals. And so you have to pay for the festival, you have to pay commissions of the merchandise to the festival, and then you have to pay all your expenses, your traveling costs, your lodging, your everything. So I guess that's one of the hardest things. Then the next thing is that if you would like to cut the expenses a bit, then it means that you really can't travel with your own gear. And that makes really big differences in quite many countries. We have had situations that we have mentioned it in our technical rider, that we need like guitar, bass, keyboard, blah, 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 and what they are carrying is something totally different. We have even had situations that we have mentioned that we need a guitar and they will bring a bass, or they will bring a bass amplifier, or things like that. And then you still should survive somehow, and the fans and the audience are expecting to get the best for their money. They have paid for the tickets and things like that, and then you can't do anything else except trying to do something to fill their expectations. So that's the second big thing. And then if you are like 2 weeks on tour or something like that, you need to do all your things at home to the situation that you could go touring. Because, for example, we are having 2 bunnies. So every time when we are going somewhere, we need to find someone to take care of our bunnies while we are away. We just can't leave them at home. And also that for quite many working places, some places, like I'm working in music business, and the company to whom I'm working, they really understand the thing that, okay, this is important part of my life as well. But we know even inside the band that with some companies, it's not that easy to get holidays every time when you need to go for touring. So it means that you have to find another working place, or you need to like cancel the tour.
talking to Marco the other day, of course, about backline, and it makes me smile when you talk about the gear, because for the first time I learned, I won't reveal the city, but he told me that there was one city in particular, of course, that the equipment was just so bad that you guys couldn't even play at all.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. You know which one, and that city knows, unfortunately. So yeah, I just you're at the not only at the, as musicians, we're not only at the mercy of sound men, audio engineers at the clubs, but you're kind of at the mercy when you're not traveling with your gear. You're at the mercy of whomever is getting your tour together. But don't worry, guys, we got it together for Two Witches, as you know. We've got all the equipment and the transport and the like, and that's what was great for me, that I was able to put that all past Yerke for Two Witches in October, hoping that I wouldn't have to go to a plan C, but I had a plan C as well, and that he was able to say, no, we're very interested, and let's keep this conversation going, and let's get all these challenges that he's talking about, all these logistics, let's get them ironed out and worked out. And the very last one was getting time off work for these guys. And when he got that final thumbs up, I knew we could then make it the announcement. Actually, I couldn't make the announcement. I had to go to all the 5 promoters and throw in the change up of the band. And, so that was a challenge for me. And I was a little worried. And the one that I'm not going to mention which, but the one that I thought wasn't going to be a problem whatsoever might have been a problem, but it wasn't. So I'm so grateful. And we are honored to be having the Two Witches be on this tour. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Then there is like one thing is that like now we have people from Norway and Sweden and Finland and US at the moment here talking around this Goth table, but when you are touring in certain countries, it might be that you won't find anyone who could speak English, which means it gives a different kind of problems there. Like when you try to explain to the local sound engineer what you want, or like even like how to go to the train or things like that, then it's
hotel in Finland.
Yeah, like sometimes that's really hard situation when you really need to explain something which is important and another one do not understand a single word.
Yeah, I would imagine that's challenging. I'm the only one here that only speaks one language. I only speak English, so I couldn't even imagine, touring around the world and dealing with the language barriers. Sorry, Lisa, were you about to say something?
No, not at all. Not important. Not important.
So before we go to the live chat to check out questions, I did want to give everyone the chance to introduce any other musical or creative projects that you have outside of Two Witches and Jesucrisis. So Lisa, I'll start with you. Any other projects that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I was going to mention earlier just that it's been announced now. It's been a long time in coming, but about 3 years ago, actually, was when I got back from LA. Michael Aliani from Icon, original Icon, and then later Huron, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it correctly. He asked me to lay some tracks down for maybe an EP that he was going to do that was akin to the old side project from Icon, which was Crimes of Passion. I'm not sure they're going to call it that. I guess they are, but Dino and Chris McCarter from Icon and Michael and myself have put together, they threw past me songs, and I've laid tracks for about 4. So there'll be an EP coming out. Actually, they kind of used some mandolin feedback to put me on 5 and 6 as well, too, I think. So anyway, there'll be an EP coming out for that, and I'm pretty excited about that. The music's different than my original stuff, and it's different from Jesucrisis for sure. But whenever anybody asks me to guest on violin, I try not to just, I can't stomach just doing pretty violin. Being a classical player, anybody could do that. I try to bring my original voice to a project, and so it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see how Michael's mixed it well, and it'll be interesting to see that come to fruition.
Excellent. Looking forward to checking that out. Vladdy, any other projects that you'd like to share?
Any other side projects?
No, I don't have time for another project. I am actually only focused in Jesucrisis. I don't have time for other things. I need to study another things for another competence in USA, and so probably one collaboration with Siniestra de Recife Morado, one friend de Venezuela. Possibly one collaboration with my bass and vocals, but actually I am only focused in Jesucrisis. I am working in my little studio in the attic for try discovery what is the way, in what way I am stay actually. Because for example, the first album is a more dead rock, more intense. The second album with Lisa is kind of like more esoteric, Indian esoteric things. And now the next EP or album, I don't know. I try discovery. Actually, I like it many music more. I try more intense. I like a quiet song and slow song, but actually I am working songs more powerful. Probably influenced experience with the Two Witches. I try singing more forth, more high, more dramatic.
But I think already.
Yeah,
and Marco's influence with metal, that he likes good metal, not shit.
Yeah, I am listen any type of music. I listen punk, metal, folklore, any old pop music. I only not like it this type reggaeton music.
In South America,
kind of like Bad Bunny is one mainstream music, very crap in South America. I hate this type of music, and yeah, actually, I am only focusing in Jesucrisis.
But edit the postscript is that Jesucrisis for him has always been very cultural, it's a big global. It's even his teepee outside of our home here. It's the idea of Native American interests and blending all of that into his beautiful project, which is Jesucrisis, that I've been honored to be a part of.
Yeah,
it's not just one little band that creates songs. It's quite thought out.
Yeah, but for example, for a construction, one concept for one song or for one album, I like it read, the one concept. I like investigation anytime, probably 1 month, 2 months. It's a long process for me. But it's funny. This is the process. This process is enjoyable. The try investigation, the one concept, reading books, etc. This process, I like it. I enjoy many. The process, the investigation and composition, songs, etc.
Great. I love what you're both doing with Jesucrisis.
For example, I have many friends can play, have 1 project, 2 projects, 3 projects, 5 projects, but no concentrate on one thing good. I prefer working on one thing.
Yeah. So everyone go check out Jesucrisis. For anyone who's watching this back on YouTube, I will link everywhere where you can find Two Witches and Jesucrisis online in the description, all of their main pages. So Yerky and Miss Blueberry, any other projects outside of Two Witches that you'd like to share?
I have been in several side projects, done records, also my solo record. I'm also writing lyrics for other bands and things like that, but nothing is not as important as Two Witches. Like, even if I have concentrated for several times for some side projects, more than Two Witches at the time, Two Witches is always my thing. I started the band 1987, and it's the most important band for myself. So even if I have done several others and several other records. So which is the one I want to share.
Excellent.
This Two Witches is my only band and music project, but also I'm a pole dancer, so I'm always working for those shows. I love to be on stage also with pole or chair or aerial artist. So I'm always working for these, and we have talked about Synapop
Side project.
yeah, but now it's on the table, and maybe someday if we have more time for it.
Really cool. The pole dancing and aerial stuff sounds awesome. Performance art, very cool. So now I think we'll head to any questions we got from the chat, or Dave and Caroline, if you two have any follow-up questions. So Dave, have you noticed anything in the chat? Do you have any follow-up questions?
There hasn't been many questions in chat, really. There were some questions about American tour dates, so I poked in the dates for when they would be in chat. Otherwise, there has been not that much question-wise, at least. And I don't really have any questions myself. It's been really enjoyable listening in here.
Excellent. Well, that might be good information to point viewers to, especially those who are watching this back on YouTube. Where would be the best place for our viewers to go and check out the upcoming tour dates?
The best place would be perhaps anywhere on Facebook, of course, to Two Witches or to Jesucrisis. Our website, which is under my lisamilesviolin.com. You can just remember that, lisamilesviolin.com, because then you'll find Jesucrisis more than anything else on that site. But you can go to Eventbrite for 4 of the gigs for tickets, or for 1 of the gigs to Ticketmaster, and just put in Jesucrisis or Two Witches, and you'll see tickets for, I'm going to announce right now, please, the show dates and time, not the times, but the show dates and places. March 30th, Thursday, it's in Pittsburgh at the Hard Rock Cafe, presented by Drusky Entertainment. Friday is in a really cool place in Akron, Ohio, a new event space, largest soundstage in 50 miles, called Afterlife. And that is Friday, March 31st. And then the following weekend on Thursday, just want to get the date right, the 6th of April, we're in DC, presented by Vanguard DC at the public auction. And I want to give a little shout out. I'm going to back up and give a shout out to Dave, to Drusky Entertainment for Pittsburgh, and also to Dave Schweier for Afterlife. For DC, it would be Bella LeBlanc and Johnny Panic, who are also going to be DJing at the Thursday DC show for Vanguard DC. For Friday night, we're in Philly. Jay Sector and his partner for Philly, Sanctorium Philly, is presenting us at the Fire Club in Philadelphia. And they've been wonderful. They were kind of the first to get the ball rolling with the first acclimated gig on the schedule. And then Saturday is at the very famous continuation of every month's event in New York City called the Red Party, a really goth mainstay event, and that's Sean Templar and Madonna. And that would be on Saturday the 8th of April. And that's Easter weekend, by the way. So those dates, the second weekend, are Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and whatever we call Saturday ushering in for Easter. So our compadres, the Dark Cowboys in Sweden, pointed it out to me. I didn't realize that I book shows that are on, these holy dates, and have Two Witches playing it. So it'll be really cool.
Well, it sounds like a great way to celebrate. So Caroline, any follow-up questions from you?
No, but it was really interesting to hear all the stories and experiences.
Well, I will link, like I said, where you can check out Two Witches, Jesucrisis in the description for anyone that's watching this on YouTube. This is our final episode of Gothy Roundtable, our series finale. So I want to thank everyone who tuned in to not episode, but any prior Gothy Roundtables. We may possibly resurrect this in the future, but I'm going back to school. Caroline's about to have a baby. So we're going to be taking a break for a little bit. And this was such an excellent, exciting episode to end off on. So Jesucrisis, Two Witches, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a really interesting episode. And thanks for everyone who tuned into the live stream.
Guys, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.